Go ahead.
Okay, being as it's 5:15 or 5:40,
39.
start the Park and Rec meeting, call it to order. Guess we don't have to do a pledge. Look for a motion to adopt the agenda.
I'll make a motion to adopt the agenda.
Second.
Motion made and second to adopt the agenda. Any questions? All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carried. Look to approval of the April 8th, 2025 meeting minutes.
I'll make that motion. Approve the April 8th, 2025 meeting minutes.
Second,
Second.
get that? Okay, public comment. Terry?
Terry
Pick up.
Thank you.
Most of you know me, I'm Terry Dorsner, I live on Montgomery Street, and I'm the guy that put the rock in Memorial Park. I got the rock from my pit, I got Murphy to carry it over there. And now you're gonna move it. Which I guess, I love Danny Rice, good friend of mine, and he's pushing for it. But I'm against it, but, did anybody consider moving the rock to a better place down there at Memorial Park? I don't like where it is either, but it used to be kind of down by the concession stand. And I read the paper and it kind of like nobody sees it. Well, it used to be by the concession stand. And then somebody, I think, stole the plaque off it and the kids were climbing on it. I guess the guy could have put a fence around it. Anyhow, my main thing I'm here for is, are we gonna move the memorial? Are you gonna move the stone?
It was approved.
Vietnam,
It
you
was
mean
approved.
Vietnam?
So it's gonna get moved, right?
Yes, sir.
Okay. What are we gonna call that park then?
Well, there is another memorial at Memorial Park.
There is.
Yes, there is a 9/11 memorial there. Another memorial that not many people know about that is put, somewhere that people don't realize. It's over in the historical village area. Yep,
Well, is that historical village, is that part of the Memorial Park?
there's intricate pieces to that agreement. We own some of the property, they own some of the property, we own some of the building, or no, they own all the buildings, but we own the property that the buildings are on. So it is the historical village and Memorial Park.
I helped move a lot of that stuff,
Yeah,
and Vernon was, helped build that, get that all set up.
I actually got an email this morning from your cohort, Peter Culver, who said
Right.
that he moved that, or he brought that rock to Memorial Park with you. And he
There.
named you, so I knew when you wrote down your name that I,
He was there, but he didn't move it, because it's, at the time, I didn't have a loader big enough to move it. And
sure,
I talked to MCC, which was Murphy Construction, and they said, yeah, well,
sure,
it was no charge.
yep,
And I
Yep.
think the JCs came out and picked out the stone out of the pit, but I couldn't move it.
yep,
It's too
so,
big. But anyhow, I am very, very concerned, and so are the people on Montgomery Street, that once you move the memorial, the park will not be Memorial Park. And what will it be named? Not
So
that
it
we have a
is-
name for it, but
there is still a memorial there, so
Okay,
it's
so-
still legit a memorial park,
the generation that I came from,
right,
that's kind of our park,
sure.
okay?
And it's always gonna be there.
Yeah, that's.
And we're doing renovations to it. Right now, we have $50,000 set aside in capital to renovate the bathrooms.
Good.
In the sewer system, and working with youth baseball, youth softball, the school district, and the historical village to do a lot of work down there to make it better.
Historical village?
Is that your concern that we're gonna rename it?
Yes, that's our concern on,
Yeah, that's never been
That was
approached.
never
right, but
discussed.
Yeah.
it never was proposed about moving rock. It's a memorial rock from Memorial Park. So you take one egg out of the basket, you got a different egg here. Why are we gonna call it Memorial Park? There's no memorial there. That somebody's gonna come to you and say that.
But
And then
there
they're
is,
gonna wanna name it Bob Bishaw Park or somebody else park, and then that's not good. That's not what it was intended for.
but there is a memorial there.
Well,
And I
you
think
know where
that
I'm
the
coming
people
from?
that, I do, but I think.
I got a
that-
lot of time and a lot of effort in that park.
And so do the
and a lot of money.
JCs, and so do the members at Taft Park. I think that
That's fine.
the time that we spent discussing it and the members that we had of the veterans group supporting the move, I think was a valid reason,
And I'm not fighting them, and like I said,
right?
Danny Rice is a neighbor and a good friend,
Sure.
but the rest of us are thinking, what's next? What shoe is gonna fall next, you know? A long time ago, and this guy here looked it up for me, somewhere back there, and I was here when it was Memorial Park, no signs on the fences out there. It's a memorial park, it's not all advertised, all these signs. If you wanna see the signs, go down the highway, that's where they belong. Not on the park, but they get a lot of sponsor money, whatever.
Right.
But I used to sit in that seat right in there somewhere for 4 or 6 years. I was back then when it was the third board.
Thank you for your
And,
service.
well, I'm not looking for any of that. I'm 79, I'm gonna be 79 in a couple of weeks, and there's not much sand left in my hourglass, and I want it to stay like it is.
Well,
You gotta
it's
move
gonna
the
get
rock with the
better.
rock. I got more rocks. I can go out and get a rock and drop it off there.
Oh, well,
But,
then we'll know where it came from.
and, but, write this down somewhere that I was here representing some of the citizens on Montgomery Street.
There's no concerns right now about.
I don't know about it, but who's to say,
And who knows? I won't be here 20 years from now, 10 years from now, 5 years from now, who knows?
but here's what's
But
gonna
as of
happen.
now, there's
Here's
no
what's
plan.
gonna happen. Somebody's gonna come and say, hey, this softball coach or this teacher or this whatever, we ought to name the park after.
They've tried that already and it didn't
Yeah.
work.
Yeah.
So, yeah,
Whatever.
we don't put the cart in front of the horse before there's an issue.
I
And
Trying-
I
I'm
understand
trying to put up some caution tape
Yep.
before it's red tape.
your comments are appreciated.
Yeah, well,
So, yeah,
like I say, I don't like where the rock is. I liked it where it was before, and when they moved it, I just said, hey, that's where they wanna put it, then they wanna put it.
Mhm.
But now that it's leaving, I don't know. I was not in Vietnam. I am a veteran of the National Guard, but, I had to go to Milwaukee and fight Father Grappi, if any of you can remember that. Nobody can remember the riots in Milwaukee?
was there also.
All right, that's
Okay,
it.
thank you, Terry.
All right,
Thank you
thanks,
for
Jerry.
listening.
Appreciate it.
Thanks, Terry.
You guys.
Review and approval, a recreational voting fund grant agreement with Wisconsin Department of Natural Resources, Ginger.
Okay, so this is just, the formal paperwork that needs to be submitted, to accept the funding from the state. Remembering that this is a recreational voting fund grant, so the money is, to benefit the boat launch and the river use. It just goes through time period of when the money needs to be spent, how it goes through the reimbursement process, guidelines to the scope or change of scope, if any, and then just other record keeping details. I do need to submit this ASAP.
So when they gonna start?
ASAP. Any questions about the project or the agreement or the funding or anything? I know we've talked about this a lot in committee, so.
Well, seriously, when are they thinking? of doing
So
something down there?
seriously, we do have, this will have to get signed. We'll get that, the funds in hand. And then I know that I did my final walkthrough with McMahon and we'll go through the bid process shortly. I'm just waiting to hear back from McMahon, so.
I know
the
there's a lot of,
federal dates.
I know we got a lot of projects going right now, so that's
Yeah.
why I was asking.
Yeah, our plan is to kind of put it out there to anybody that is working on the Oshkosh Street project or street projects around the area, because that'll
Yep.
drastically cut the cost of
That's- yep.
mobilization and things like
That's
Yeah.
that's why I was questioning having
Yeah.
it done this year, and that way you
that. Right,
get better
absolutely.
prices. Yep.
Yep.
So you looking for a motion, Bob?
Yeah, anybody got any other discussions on it? Yeah, I look for a motion to approve the recreational voting fund grant.
I'll make a motion to approve the recreational boating fund grant agreement with Wisconsin Department of Natural Resources.
Second.
And I'll second.
Motion's been made and second to approve the grant. Any more discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carried. Updates and reports, Ginger, Inspector.
I've just been spending a lot of time with the special event permit holders. This is May. Everybody is in full swing. Last weekend, we had a successful sturgeon shuffle and color run. This weekend is the May Festival down at Hatton Park. Tonight, I just came from a meeting with the Rock and Corn Fest, committee and walking through details with them. So we are very busy. We've got 2 new event applications come in, so that's 4 new events for this year. I don't know what the total is there, but it's a lot of good things coming around New London. The bathrooms have opened up for the season. We did a really nice renovation of the bathrooms in the Hatton Stadium, in-house. Ted and his crew did a phenomenal job finishing those out. I think that one of our July, maybe we'll do a July tour and just do a bathroom tour. Look at the crappy ones in Memorial and the good ones in Hatton and what we can do there. So, I am continuing to meet weekly with McMahon and also met last week with Ayers about Memorial Park, the Newton Blackmore Bridge. I'm hoping to have Craig Shue from Ayers come to the next meeting and give a full update on that. Meeting next week with the Memorial Park planning group. It's like I said earlier, youth baseball, youth softball, the historical village, and the high school and myself are going to start meeting regularly to make plans for Memorial Park. Youth softball has been actively fundraising for that. They have a big fundraiser coming up that looks like a fun time, and all proceeds will be going to Memorial Park, which is nice. So things are moving along. Had a big week of Earth Day, Arbor Day, planted 8 trees in Hatton Park for Earth Day or Arbor Day on Friday with the 164 6th graders. So that was a treat, but it was good. So any questions, comments, projects, and questions that I can help you with tonight?
Aries is gonna come and talk about the bridge?
Yes, they will. Yep. Yep. And then we had Morgan, actually all of our staff, CIVMIC, our insurance company, has revamped their education offerings in NeoGov, the system that we use. And I went through and looked at all of the enrollments that had enrolled in anything because I was assigning it. And I noticed that Morgan and Jim have been working on their emerging leader certification, which I didn't even, it was a mention in their evaluations, and they signed up for themselves. And Morgan is completing hers. Actually, Jim is still working on hers. Morgan is completing hers this week. So that's great. And then all full-time staff that drive ATV, UTVs completed that certification, CIVMIC. So that's great for them. And I was just gonna mention that Peter Culver emailed me this morning thanking me for moving the Memorial Rock to Taft Park. And he mentioned that he and Terry were the ones that picked it out, got the plaque, and initially put it there at Memorial Park. So that was a nice email to get on a Monday morning, that he appreciated us seeing that need. So here's the massive list of special events that we have coming through New London. They'll be dedicating the rock. I spoke with Tim Roberts. They'll be dedicating the rock at the Memorial Day program on May 26th. So that'll be a nice program.
I don't know if we're the committee or it'll be yours, John. But seeing they're doing the, parking lot down there paving and stuff, is there any, discussion on that crosswalk that we've been talking about for the bus?
Yeah, actually, McMahon is planning it into the scope of the project. Robert had talked about even doing the light up crosswalk. So, yeah,
Well, that will probably end up being on street.
yeah, maybe,
Public
yeah.
Works.
but Robert's on board with that, so,
I just was curious because I know when we're doing it and that's a
Yeah.
big discussion all the time,
yeah.
how we're gonna handle that.
Yeah, they looked at the drawing and thought that it could probably come from that, the island right there, to the west. There's kind of a hatched out island, yeah, right there, and come across the street there, because that's where their little gate is on the
Yeah.
other side. If you look, there's a
Yeah,
gate that they
yep.
go
we
in
were
and out.
talking.
So,
And I think there's be some conversations with the school district about partnerships
yeah,
there as well.
Definitely.
Yep.
Definitely. Anybody got,
including parking, so, yeah.
anybody got anything else for Ginger?
For that Mayfest, the city ain't gonna have issues with them parking on the grass again this year, are they?
Well,
Cause
they.
the ground is pretty soft.
It's very soft. This morning, the Go Green company dumped off one, truckload of gravel for an entry. The guy never came back, said he's not coming back. So, the Mayfest committee will be purchasing the rest of the gravel to put in a driveway to get out on the field. Once they're on the field, in the middle, it should be okay. We did tell them that they need to stay off the outer edge because that's where it's really wet. But we met with them out there 2 weeks ago, so. This dry week is gonna help immensely.
You wanna, put some grappling at the planters and the garbage cans they don't yet on Water Street. You
We
wanna,
just received them and I have to hold on to the invoice for right now because we got the planters and they did not have the right forklift full spots. So they have to come get them and we will not be putting planters out until the end of the month when we get them. So it'll be a little time, unfortunately.
were the garbage cans right?
Yep, garbage cans were right. After we finalize the order for the forklift full spot, then we can release that invoice to get paid and put them out. Yep,
Alright, thank you.
yep.
Already talked about future agenda items, I guess. So review the next meeting date, Tuesday, June 3rd.
Yeah, I apologize for the switch on this one. I just thought it'd be easier because it was a shorter time to come in, so,
You got a lot on agenda for next one.
yeah, yeah. And I have having Craig here, it would be hard, so. I don't know,
John might have quite a bit too next month.
yeah,
So we'll have to probably stay to our normal
yeah,
Monday,
Yep,
Tuesday.
I think we should keep them separate.
But I think it's a great idea, like you
To
did.
double
you
them
know,
up.
okay,
Doubling them up when they're both short like that. I think that's a great idea. We gotta start at 5. That shouldn't, unless
That's
somebody
okay.
really has a problem with it, then we'll probably have to
Mhm.
stay with it.
5 is really tough for me to get to. I had
Yeah.
12 minutes to
Oh,
get from work
Yeah.
to home to change and then get here. That was tough.
Well, we might have to look at that starting,
Yeah, the 5:15 I can manage, but that,
doubling them up, especially when they're
And
short
that's
ones.
a fine time to start too, so.
Okay, anybody got anything else? I'd look for a motion to adjourn.
Make a motion to adjourn the meeting.
Second.
Motion made and second to adjourn the meeting.